There was nothing out of place about Malcolm Avery that morning. His suit was crisp, his collar sharp, and he walked through JFK's terminal floor like a man who had made this trip countless times before. In his left hand, he carried a dark leather garment bag. In his right, a first-class boarding pass to San Francisco. He was en route to deliver the keynote address at the Western Purdue Sustainability Summit. At 58, Malcolm had lived through these motions too many times to be fazed. He wasn't one to seek attention. He preferred the steady rhythm of efficiency. But when he arrived at Gate 17, something intangible shifted. The line hadn't yet formed. A few travelers hovered nearby, sipping coffee and scrolling on their phones. Malcolm approached the counter, nodded to the gate attendant, a young woman, and handed over his boarding pass. She didn't scan it immediately. Instead, she looked up, hesitated, then looked again with a kind of pause that betrays bias before it finds words. Malcolm stood patiently, his posture relaxed, his gaze unassuming. "This lane is for premium passengers only," she said, unnecessarily sharp. "I know," Malcolm replied evenly. Finally, she scanned the pass, hesitated again, then leaned to whisper to a colleague. The second woman peeked over her shoulder at Malcolm. "I'm going to need to see some ID," the first attendant said. Malcolm tilted his head. "You don't usually ask for ID when scanning a boarding pass. Is there a problem?" "It's just a security measure," she claimed. He handed over his license. She held it awkwardly, unsure what to do with it, then set it down on the desk without scanning. "Wait here a moment." Malcolm said nothing. He glanced at the pass. His name, Malcolm Avery, printed clearly. She stepped away and spoke in low tones to a man in a dark security uniform. Within seconds, a TSA officer walked toward them, taking up silent post beside Malcolm, observing him like a checklist. Malcolm didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He simply stepped aside, out of the boarding lane, pulled out his phone, and made a call. "Maggie, it's me. I need the Horizon Air contract we finalized 2 weeks ago. The one for Western routes. I'm at Gata Sutton. I'll hold." He stayed on the line, steady, composed, while the gate agent spoke in her mic. "We're just working through a minor issue," she announced to the growing line of passengers. But patience was thin. A businessman whispered, "Is he causing trouble or something?" Malcolm heard it. He didn't react. Maggie's voice returned. "Got it. Want me to call corporate?" "No," he replied. "Just flag it. They're about to realize they have a problem." That call wasn't a complaint. It was a signal. Malcolm didn't always wear suits. He was raised in Lorain, Ohio, in a modest home with creaky floors and louder mornings. His mother, Evelyn, stocked produce at a corner grocer. His father, Curtis, alternated between factory shifts and fixing neighborhood cars. They didn't have much, but they had dignity, and Malcolm learned early on the power of composure. At 15, he rose before dawn to help his mother sort through crates of fruit and vegetables. It's where he learned to feel ripeness by touch and to speak with, not at, people. By 23, with a degree in agricultural business, he launched a roadside produce stand outside Dayton. His first investment, a borrowed truck, a folding tent, and pure determination. In his 30s, Malcolm saw the gap no one else was addressing: sustainable, scalable, regional produce for large markets. Thus, Avery Global was born. From a garage and one shaky laptop, he built a network across the Midwest. It took 15 years before national chains took notice. Today, Avery Global supplies over 30 luxury grocery chains, 5 university systems, and most recently, Horizon Air. They came to him. He listened, offered a plan, seasonal rotations, direct sourcing, reduced waste. They signed a $48 million contract. But Malcolm stayed grounded. His office bore no plaques, only photos of his first stand and handwritten notes from farmers. Maggie handled operations. Malcolm handled people, and he never used power for show, only when necessary. So when the gate agent at JFK scanned his face instead of his boarding pass, when the security officer treated him like a suspect instead of a passenger, it wasn't just insult. It was a reminder. Some people only see what they expect. And when you don't fit that mold, They search for reasons to exclude you. The gate agent's name was Rachel. Mid-30s. New to JFK. Transferred from Tulsa. Her orders were clear. Follow rules. Maintain order. But she lacked judgment. The kind built through experience. By now, passengers lined up. A man in a blue windbreaker paste. A woman clutched her floral bag, whispering. Rachel muttered into her headset, asking again for backup. Her colleague Mia leaned over. Is there actually an issue? Rachel frowned. He says he's first class. His pass says so. Still, it doesn't feel right. Mia tensed slightly. Be careful. But Rachel dug into the system, pretending to look for a flag that didn't exist. The security guard stood silently, arms crossed. Malcolm's phone rang. Maggie, I sent the alert to their regional VP. Jack Renault's looped in. Thanks. Keep me posted. Back at the desk, Mia whispered. Do you know who he is? That's Malcolm Avery, our produce vendor. Signed last week. Rachel's stomach dropped. She looked at Malcolm again, still holding his pass, still calm. Maybe we should just board him now, Mia said. Rachel panicked. No. If we do it now, it looks like we... A voice cut through her headset. Rachel, what's the status at gate 17? We see a delay. Just handling a passenger, she replied. Under control. We have execs flying in. No surprises. Rachel tried to compose herself. Mia prepared to apologize, but just then, a suited man with a Horizon ID appeared. He was followed closely by a woman in red heels, phone in hand. Cynthia Reyes. Cynthia ended her call. Mr. Avery? Cynthia Reyes, Executive Director of Regional Operations. May I speak with you? Of course, Malcolm said, slipping his phone into his pocket. They stepped aside. Cynthia inhaled. On behalf of Horizon Air, I apologize. This should not have happened. I'd like to escort you personally. Do you know what seat I was assigned? Seat 1A. Interesting, he replied. I was told this lane was for premium passengers. Cynthia nodded quiet. Understood. The issue isn't the mistake. It's the assumption. Rachel stood frozen. Cynthia called over another figure. Tall, corporate posture, a black lanyard. Justin Cole, Horizon's legal liaison. Mr. Avery, Justin said, extending a hand. We'd like to apologize. This shouldn't have occurred. Malcolm replied, I don't need an apology. I need to understand how it happens after we sign a $48 million deal. Justin faltered. Cynthia stepped in. We're reviewing conduct and sensitivity training. This doesn't reflect our values. The company's values or your staff's judgment? No answer. Malcolm continued. Your gate agent saw a well-dressed black man with a first-class pass and assumed he didn't belong. Not once, but repeatedly. She called security the moment I asked a question. Justin cleared his throat. We can offer a formal apology, privately or publicly. Malcolm reached into his bag, pulled out a folder. This is a signed copy of our contract. Avery Global now supplies every fresh item on your Western and Midwest routes. That includes your premium lounge produce. So when I say the person you blocked at the gate is your brand, I mean it literally. Cynthia took the folder. It felt heavier than paper. I don't want to tweet. I want better. Because next time, the person you treat like a threat might not have direct access to your VP. Passengers murmured. Phones hovered. Justin said, We'll begin a full review immediately. You have my word. Good, Malcolm said, checking his watch. Then let's proceed. Cynthia waved to the flight crew. The jet bridge opened. Malcolm turned toward Rachel. Not angry, just disappointed. He boarded. The crew was ready. A flight attendant named Jordan took his bag. Another handed him water. Mr. Avery, anything you need before takeoff, just say the word. He didn't reply. He sat in 1A calm, hands folded. Outside, the airport slowed. Gate 17 showed delayed. Then Gate 18. Then Gate 21. A soft shutdown rippled across Horizon terminals. Internal reviews had begun. 10 floors above, Cynthia entered a secure meeting. Legal, HR, and operations joined the call. The directive, assess everything. In Minneapolis, Jack Renault was already briefing corporate. Back on the plane, Jordan returned. "We've been asked to delay departure. They're reviewing something. We'll keep you posted." "Thank you," Malcolm said. Jordan lingered. "My brother watched your talk last year. You made sustainability feel real for him." Malcolm smiled. "I appreciate that." 20 minutes later, Gate 17 logs were clear. No incidents, no threats, just one unjustified call to security. Rachel was quietly removed from the floor. No announcement, no schedule the next day. A photo surfaced by afternoon. Malcolm, still by the gate, phone to his ear. Caption: he didn't raise his voice. He didn't move, but the whole airport listened. When Malcolm arrived in San Francisco, he didn't mention the incident. He delivered his keynote with precision. He spoke about resilience, assumptions, and the cost of shortcuts. "Sometimes," he said, "it's not the system. It's the way we read people." Back in New York, Cynthia read the final report. Malcolm hadn't asked for anyone to be fired. He declined public apology offers. He simply went back to work. Weeks later, Horizon quietly announced a new partnership with a civil rights group. Malcolm didn't comment. He didn't post. He told Maggie, "Tell them I'm busy feeding people." And in Ohio, Evelyn Avery read about it and said, "That's my son." Sometimes, the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all.